Bilingualism. This is the combination of two words, bi, which means to, and lingual, which means language. When these words combine, it forms bilingual. Bilingual is the phenomenon of speaking and understanding two or more languages. Let's take an example. In a hearing family, when a child is born, parents and other family members start to talk with him. What do you think? Do they teach the child structure or grammatical rules of a language? No. They talk to their child naturally without putting efforts. In front of their child, they talk about incidents happening around, about economy, pandemic, and other things. The child can hear everything what is being spoken around him, but he does not understand the language. He only listens to the words and acquire language. For a child, the age between 0 to 5 years is a critical period when a child acquires his primary language. During the critical period, children will acquire the language that is being used around them. Then later on, they begin to express using language. Children acquire language through interaction with their parents in their early age. In the first few months of life, they recognize the face of their mother and her voice. They only listen to what their mother is speaking to them. When they begin to express, first they picturize their mother's face in their mind and then they speak the word mother. This is how they learn to express. The sense of vision and hearing help a child to identify the faces and voice. When children acquire language in their early childhood, then they are able to communicate fluently later on in their life. If Hindi language is spoken in the family, then it will be the first language of a child, which is called primary language. Later on, when children go to school, they are exposed to other language, that is English, because the mode of communication in school is English. So on the basis of first language, children learn their second language. So English will be the secondary language which they will learn from school. This is bilingualism, when a child has ability to use two languages. Same with the deaf children. Deaf children born to deaf parents are typically exposed to sign language at birth. All the family members use sign language in front of the deaf child, and the child naturally acquire language at home. And eventually after few months, a deaf child also uses sign language when he expresses himself. Babies also use sign language to express. Baby sign language is a set of simple hand gestures that correspond to common words. When they fully acquire language, they can sign perfectly. In school, they learn English language, and that will be their second language. This is called bilingualism, that is having knowledge of two languages. If a deaf child is born to hearing parents and the parents speak to the child, then the child will not understand what they are speaking because he cannot hear. He can see the lip movements, but it is complicated for a small child to lip read and understand what is being spoken. As the child grows up in the hearing society, he faces many challenges in understanding the language, and because of that, many questions arises in his mind. In the school too, it becomes complicated for him to understand the English language because he did not get proper language acquisition in his critical period. That is why it is obvious for him to get confused in understanding the language. Let's take an instance. Before the construction of a house, a strong foundation is built. Similarly, a strong foundation of language is important for the children in their early years of life. In the critical period, they acquire their first language, and then later on, they develop their second language. Hearing children acquire language in the early years of their life, and on the basis of that, they develop their second language. This is because they get full exposure of language in the family in their early childhood. However, deaf children born to hearing parents do not get exposure of sign language in their early childhood. They cannot communicate with their parents because their parents do not know sign language. But there are few ways through which this problem can be solved.